Okay guys, so the last step for our project is to export it into a GIF for your animated banner. Okay, so what will be the first step? So first step is definitely you want to check on your timeline, make sure the duration is correct. So in my design, I have the project 24 frame per second, and then it lasts for 5 seconds, which is the minimum requirement of the project. Okay, so if it's too long and too short, this is where you can change it. You can select the composition that you want to modify the duration, go to composition setting, and make sure the duration is set up correctly. Okay, so keep in mind the difference on the duration. So this is for frames. So 24 frames will be 1 second. And this is a second, this part is for a minute, and the last is for hours. Okay, so this, make sure you have at least 5 seconds on your duration. Okay, so another thing that is a requirement for the project is you need to export your GIF in 800 pixel wide. Okay, so in default, I told you guys to create your composition in HD video. So if you export it directly, this size is too big for animated GIF. So first step, we need to downsize a little bit before we export. Okay, so to do that, the easiest way is I'll just create a new composition and I'll call it render for GIF. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. So make sure you have the width for 800 pixel. Okay, so your height, it can be different. If you only have a shorter like name for your GIF, the height might be a little bit higher. If your name is longer and your banner is like much narrower, like the height could be a little shorter. In my case, I will do like 300. Okay, so again, height width should be 800. The height it could be different based on your need. Okay, so you can try it out. If you need more space, you can always expand it a little bit bigger. Okay, so we got this new composition for rendering, and let's find our composition for that has all the letters together. So we just open the new composition we created and then drag the one that has our text. And you can see the original composition is HD, so it's much bigger than what we needed here. Okay, so to modify that, pretty simple. All we need is scale this a little bit smaller. So shortcut for scaling is hit S, S key, or if you want to do the old traditional way, you can also open the list, open transform, and find scale. Okay, and then we can scale it down a little bit. Okay, so if you feel like you need it to be longer or taller, you can go back and go to composition and change the size here if needed. Okay, in my case, I think this looks pretty good, and you can also select your composition, make sure it's centered in the newer composition. Okay, so now the size look just fine, playing in the newer size of our composition for render. Now, next step, let's actually render it. Okay, so to render and export your file from After Effects, I'm going to show you a different way. So go to composition, and here, instead of add to render queue, since After Effects cannot choose like to render GIF directly, using the media encoder would be a better option. Okay, so you don't have to export it and then put it in Photoshop. Okay, so add to media encoder. Okay, so I have media encoder open already. Okay, and because I did some tests earlier, it might take a minute for you to have media encoder turn on. Okay, so after give it a second, and you should see the composition you render showing up here in the queue panel. One more thing I forgot to mention is make sure when you choose add to media encoder queue, make sure you're selecting the right composition that you want to render. If you're in like a different composition and you do the render queue, you can see it will choose a different like layer. You can see it's the V. Okay, so it's instead of the render GIF. Okay, so or actually you can see it here. Okay, so make sure you're choosing the right composition. Okay, so what is the next step? So here I already choose GIF. So I think in default it's probably like a video composition. So we need to click on the list and change it to animated GIF. Okay, and then for the preset, it will just match the original source. Okay, if you click on that, there's like things you can change, like you can change the like the quality, the size. But if you resize it as 800 width, you don't really need to change anything over here. Okay, so it should be good, and pretty much click on the output file to redirect it to wherever you want it to be saved. Okay. So, okay, I know where that folder is, so I'll just hit save and click on the play button so it will start rendering. Okay. So take a couple seconds since hopefully your GIF is not super long and big, so it should take less than a minute to render. Okay, cool. Now it's done. So we can go to your the folder where you render your GIF. Okay, so that's where I have. So we'll just open it in a browser to see how it looks. Okay, so here we go. We have our animated banner render in animated GIF. So this is a little better method comparing to export out a video and then put it into Photoshop. Okay, so hope this helped, and make sure you have your animated banner rendered, and then please submit this GIF on Facebook before our critique.